It was supposed to be the happiest day of Julian's life. He was a self-made billionaire, a man who could buy anything in the world, except the one thing he desperately needed right now: his bride. Outside the luxury mansion, 500 high-profile guests, paparazzi, and business tycoons were waiting. Inside, Julian was staring at a completely empty space in the bridal suite. His college sweetheart, Vanessa, the woman he had loved for 7 years, the woman he built his entire empire for, was gone. No note, no text. Just her designer wedding dress thrown carelessly on the floor, and her diamond engagement ring sitting on the vanity. She had abandoned him on the day of their wedding. But Julian wasn't just a heartbroken groom. He was a single father. Suddenly, his 4-year-old son, Leo, came running into the room, tears streaming down his face, completely confused by the chaos and the whispers of the guests. Julian's heart shattered. He couldn't let the media humiliate his son, and he couldn't let Leo see his father fail. The wedding had to happen, and the chapel doors were about to open in exactly 15 minutes. Desperate, sweating, and backed into a corner, Julian looked up. Standing by the door, gently comforting little Leo, was Maya. Maya had been Julian's live-in housekeeper for the past 3 years. She was the one who actually raised Leo while Julian built his empire. She was the quiet shadow in the mansion, always faithful, always kind, and secretly, deeply in love with a man she knew she could never have. Julian stood up, walked over to her, grabbed both of her hands, and looked straight into her eyes. "Maya, please, save my family, marry me today." What happens when a billionaire marries his housekeeper out of pure desperation? Can a marriage built on a temporary lie survive the dark secrets of high society? We are about to dive straight into this incredible story. But before we find out Maya's answer, I want to know where you are watching from today. Drop your country or city in the comments right now. I love reading where our global family comes from. And if you love powerful, emotional stories that twist when you least expect it, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss our daily uploads. Maya's heart raced so fast she could hear it in her ears. She looked at little Leo, who was smiling for the first time all day, holding her hand. She looked at Julian, a broken man begging for a miracle. She whispered one word: yes. In less than 10 minutes, Maya's life transformed completely. She took off her apron and stepped into a designer gown. When the heavy wooden doors of the chapel opened, the crowd gasped. The media went into a frenzy. This wasn't the high society heiress Vanessa. This was the quiet girl from the background. But Julian held her hand tightly. As they exchanged vows, something strange happened. When Julian looked into Maya's eyes, he didn't see the panic he felt inside. He saw absolute peace. For the first time in years, he truly felt safe. The first few weeks were a roller coaster. High society tried to tear Maya down. Wealthy women mocked her past, and the media labeled her a gold digger. But Maya possessed a quiet dignity that money couldn't buy. One night, Julian hosted a massive corporate gala. A bitter rival tried to humiliate Maya by asking her to serve drinks, openly mocking her old job. But before Julian could step in, Maya smiled gracefully, took the tray, and said, "I spent years learning how to serve people with respect. It's a shame your wealth never taught you how to treat people with the same." The room went silent. Julian watched her from across the room, and in that exact moment, the ice around his heart completely melted. This wasn't a fake marriage anymore. He was falling heavily, deeply in love with his wife. Months passed, and the mansion completely changed. It was no longer just a cold display of wealth. It was a real home. Julian found himself leaving the office early just to hear Maya laugh. They spent late nights talking about their childhoods, their dreams, and their fears. Julian realized that Vanessa had loved his money and his status, but Maya had loved his soul when he was too busy to notice. One rainy evening, while Leo was asleep, Julian surprised Maya. He set up a candlelit dinner in the middle of the living room, cooked entirely by him. He walked up to her, took her hands just like he did on their wedding day, but this time there was no panic in his eyes, only fire. "Maya," he whispered, his voice trembling with emotion, "the first time I asked you to marry me, it was to save my reputation. Tonight I'm asking you because I cannot breathe without you. Will you be my wife for real?" Tears of joy spilled over Maya's cheeks as Julian leaned in to kiss her, a real passionate kiss that sealed their true love. The heavy front doors of the mansion suddenly burst open. Standing in the doorway, drenched from the pouring rain, was Vanessa. Julian stepped back, shielding Maya instinctively. "Vanessa, how dare you come back here after what you did?" he demanded, his voice shaking with anger. But Vanessa wasn't angry. She looked pale, exhausted, and completely broken. She didn't look at the luxury or the mansion. She looked straight at Julian, threw a mysterious medical folder onto the table, and collapsed to her knees. "Julian, I didn't leave you because I didn't love you," Vanessa sobbed, her voice cracking. "I left because I was trying to save your son's life, and now the people who forced me to run are coming for Maya." Julian and Maya froze as they looked down at the document on the table. Julian opened the folder with shaking hands. Inside were medical records, but not for Leo. They belonged to Julian's corrupt business partner, a ruthless man named Marcus, who had been secretly embezzling millions from Julian's empire. Vanessa explained through her tears that on the morning of the wedding, Marcus had blackmailed her. He threatened to poison little Leo and destroy Julian's company unless Vanessa vanished completely, making Julian look like a fool to ruin his stock prices. Vanessa had run away to find proof against Marcus, and she finally had it. But Marcus had just discovered she was back, and he was planning to frame Maya for the financial fraud to destroy Julian once and for all. The tension in the room was suffocating. But Julian didn't panic this time. He looked at Vanessa, thanking her for protecting his son, but then he looked at Maya, the woman who had stood by him through the darkest storm. Julian called the authorities and his security team immediately, turning over the medical and financial evidence Vanessa had gathered. Within hours, Marcus was arrested, his corrupt scheme completely exposed to the world. 2 days later, the mansion was peaceful again. Vanessa, having cleared her conscience, gently said her final goodbyes, realizing that Julian's heart no longer belonged to her. She wished them well and left to start a new life abroad. That evening, Julian took Maya back to the center of the living room. The storm outside had passed, and the stars were shining brightly through the glass windows. He knelt down on one knee, holding a new, flawless ring. "You saved my family when I was at my lowest, Maya, and you showed me what real love means. Will you stay by my side forever?" With a beautiful smile and eyes full of happy tears, Maya said yes. This time, there was no rush, no media, and no desperation, just two souls destined to be together. The leftover bride had become the true queen of his heart. Thank you so much for watching this incredible journey until the very end. True love always finds a way, even in the most unexpected places. If you enjoyed this complete story, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with someone who loves a beautiful romance, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss our next standalone stories. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.